Picture a smoky workshop in ancient Babylon around 2800 BC. A worker named Ninny is boiling animal fat with wood ashes to clean greasy wool for dyeing. She stirs the pot, and suddenly something magical happens. The fat and ash react in a process we now call saponification, creating a slippery, bubbly substance that lifts dirt like nothing else. They scratch the recipe onto a clay tablet, the oldest soap formula ever found. But here's the crazy part. Nobody uses it on their bodies. They scrub wool, dishes, and clothes. Skin? Nah. People still bathed in rivers or rubbed olive oil on themselves. Soap was a tool for textiles, not health. The Sumerians, Babylonians, and later the Egyptians had the secret in their hands, but they never connected the dots to disease. It was like inventing the wheel and only using it as a doorstop. Fast forward 1,000 years. The Romans catch on. They build massive public baths, mix soap into their routines, and even export it. Life expectancy climbs. Cleanliness becomes cool. But empires don't last forever. When Rome collapses in the 5th century AD, the knowledge of soap and bathing washes away with it in Western Europe. Bathhouses crumble. Monks declare frequent washing sinful or dangerous. Some even claim it opens your pores to evil spirits. Rich folks douse themselves in perfume to hide the stink. Peasants? They're covered in grime from dawn to dusk. Meanwhile, in the Islamic Golden Age, scientists perfect soap making. They create scented bars from olive oil and herbs, build public hammams, and teach hygiene in medical schools. But Europe? Totally clueless. People go decades without a proper bath. Cities overflow with waste. Rats thrive. Fleas feast. And nobody suspects that invisible killers are hitching rides on dirty hands and unwashed bodies. The stage is set for disaster. In 1347, the Black Death slams into Europe. The bubonic plague wipes out 1/3 of the population, 25 million people dead in just a few years. Entire villages vanish. Bodies pile up in streets. Doctors in bird masks poke patients with sticks, blaming bad air or God's anger. What they don't realize, poor hygiene made it worse. Unwashed hands spread bacteria. Filthy clothes and homes turn homes into breeding grounds. Soap could have helped scrub germs away, but most Europeans had forgotten how to make or use it properly. The few who still bathed like some monks or rich travelers fared slightly better, but no one connected the dots. Survivors rebuild, but the lesson never sinks in. For the next 500 years, Europe stays shockingly dirty. Childbed fever kills 1 in 6 new mothers in hospitals. Soldiers die from infected wounds more than enemy swords. Soap sits on shelves as a luxury item for the rich, while millions keep dying from preventable filth. Civilization is one dirty hand away from collapse. Enter Ignaz Semmelweis, a young Hungarian doctor working in Vienna General Hospital in 1847. 2 maternity wards sit side by side. One run by doctors, one by midwives. Same patients, same building. Yet the doctor's ward has a horrifying 18% death rate from childbed fever. Midwives' ward, just 2%. Semmelweis digs like a detective. He notices doctors rush from autopsies to cutting up dead bodies straight to delivering babies without washing their hands. The midwives? They never touch corpses. He orders doctors to scrub with a chlorine solution, basically early soap on steroids. In 1 month, deaths plummet to 2%. He proves it with cold, hard numbers. The reaction? Pure outrage. How dare you suggest we're dirty, doctors sneer. Colleagues call him a lunatic. Hospitals fire him. He writes desperate letters begging for change. No one listens. Heartbroken and broken, Semmelweis spirals into madness. In 1865, they lock him in an asylum. He dies there at 47, beaten by guards, ironically from an infected wound. The man who showed soap could slash deaths by 90%, was ignored by the very people sworn to save lives. It takes decades, but finally Louis Pasteur and germ theory arrive in the 1860s. Scientists confirm tiny invisible germs cause disease, and soap literally rips them off your skin. Suddenly, Semmelweis is hailed as a hero. Too late for him. Hand washing becomes standard. Soap factories boom. Public health explodes. Life expectancy in the Western world doubles in just 1 century. Soap didn't just clean bodies, it rebuilt civilization. It helped end deadly epidemics, let cities grow safely, and gave us the modern world we take for granted. From ancient clay tablets to your bathroom sink, this bubbly invention quietly saved billions. Yet here's the wildest twist. Even today, people still fight basic hygiene lessons during pandemics. History whispers the same warning. Sometimes the simplest truth is the hardest to believe. Fast forward to our world in 2026. We have vaccines, antibiotics, and hospitals with machines that look like sci-fi. Yet soap remains one of the most powerful weapons we own. During the COVID-19 pandemic, governments and scientists didn't just push masks and vaccines, they begged everyone, wash your hands with soap for 20 seconds.
Why?
Because soap still destroys the fatty outer layer of viruses and bacteria better than almost anything else. Think about it. A simple bar of soap costs pennies, needs no electricity, and has saved more lives across history than all the fancy medical tech combined. In developing countries today, teaching kids to wash hands with soap cuts diarrhea deaths by nearly half and respiratory infections dramatically. That's millions of children alive right now because of something invented over 4,800 years ago. But the story of Semmelweis reminds us how easy it is to forget. Even now, people argue against basic hygiene. Some skip hand washing after the bathroom. Others think natural means never using soap. Hospitals still battle superbugs partly because staff sometimes forget the basics. The lesson is crystal clear: civilization isn't saved by grand inventions alone. It's saved by the small, boring habits we do every day, like lathering up. Soap didn't need a fancy laboratory or a billionaire's money. It just needed people to finally listen. So here's my challenge to you. Next time you wash your hands, do it like your life depends on it, because historically, it really did. Tell your kids the story of the doctor who was right but got punished for it. Share this video with someone who still thinks a quick rinse is enough. So what's the final takeaway from this 5,000-year saga? Soap is proof that the greatest inventions aren't always flashy rockets or groundbreaking drugs. Sometimes they're so simple we overlook them until we desperately need them. It took humanity thousands of years, millions of unnecessary deaths, and one brave Doctor Who paid with his sanity to finally accept that washing our hands actually works. Think about all the obvious truths we ignore today. The small habits we dismiss as old-fashioned. The basic science that gets laughed at because it feels too ordinary. History shows us that pride and arrogance can blind even the smartest minds. The doctors who mocked Semmelweis weren't evil, they were just too proud to admit they might be wrong. In our modern world of smartphones, AI, and space travel, let's not repeat their mistake. Soap reminds us to stay humble, to respect simple solutions, to never stop questioning why and how things really work. Every single time you pick up that bar of soap in the shower or at the sink, you're participating in one of humanity's greatest victories. You're carrying forward the legacy of ancient Babylonians, Roman bathers, Islamic scholars, and a forgotten Hungarian doctor who refused to stay silent. You're not just getting clean, you're keeping civilization alive. So the next time life feels overwhelming and problems seem too big to solve, remember this story. Start with the basics. Wash your hands. Teach your family. Spread the knowledge. The smallest actions can have the biggest impact on history. Here's the craziest part nobody talks about. Soap is still fighting battles today that most people never see. In hospitals around the world, antibiotic-resistant superbugs are rising fast. The only thing that consistently slows them down? Good old-fashioned hand washing with plain soap and water. No fancy gadgets needed. In refugee camps and disaster zones, a single soap distribution program can prevent outbreaks that would otherwise kill thousands. Even in our high-tech lives, soap remains the unsung hero. It protects surgeons during operations, keeps food safe in factories, and stops the spread of everything from the common cold to deadly viruses. Scientists say that consistent hand hygiene with soap is still one of the most cost-effective public health interventions ever invented. But the real twist? The story isn't over. Right now, as you watch this, civilization depends on millions of people choosing to wash their hands properly every single day. You are part of that chain. Every time you lather up before eating, after using the bathroom, or when you come home from outside, you're doing what ancient kings, Roman emperors, and 19th century doctors failed to do consistently. You're choosing science over ignorance. So this is where the story leaves the history books and enters your bathroom. The next time you reach for that bar of soap, pause for just 2 seconds. Look at it. Remember the 5,000-year journey it took to get there. Remember the millions who died because people refused to believe something so simple could matter. Remember Semmelweis screaming into the void until it cost him everything. Then wash your hands like you mean it. Because soap didn't just save civilization once, it's still saving it right now through you. As we close this story, let's zoom out one last time. From that first accidental bubble in a Babylonian workshop to the sink in your home today, soap has been humanity's quiet guardian. It didn't come with fanfare, patents, or billion-dollar marketing campaigns. It simply worked silently, reliably, and powerfully. This is more than a history lesson. It's a reminder of who we are as humans. We are capable of incredible ignorance and breathtaking wisdom, often at the same time. We can ignore life-saving truths for centuries, then suddenly embrace them and transform the world. Soap proves that progress isn't always about doing something new. Sometimes it's about finally doing the obvious thing right. So the next time you feel like the problems of the world are too big, climate change, disease, division, remember soap. Start small. Do the simple thing correctly. Teach it to others. One washed hand at a time. Civilizations are built and protected. You now carry this knowledge. You know the real story behind that ordinary bar in your bathroom. You know why it matters more than most people will ever realize. Use it. Share it. Live it. Because the story of soap isn't just about the past. It's about every single day forward, every meal you prepare, every hug you give, every child you raise. And so, after 5,000 years of bubbles, blood, breakthroughs, and buried truths, we reach the final chapter. But here's the beautiful truth. This isn't really the end. Every day, the story of soap continues in your hands, in millions of sinks across the planet, in classrooms where kids learn to wash before lunch, in hospitals where doctors finally remember the lesson Semmelweis died trying to teach, in homes where parents pass down the simple habit that once changed the course of human history. Soap didn't ask for statues, holidays, or history books. It only asked to be used. And when humanity finally listened, everything changed. Life expectancy soared. Cities grew safer. Families thrived. Civilization itself got a second chance. Now it's your turn to keep writing the next page. The next time someone rolls their eyes at basic hygiene, tell them this story. The next time you feel too busy to wash your hands properly, remember the millions who never got the chance. The next time life feels chaotic, return to the basics because the basics built the modern world. You hold the power, not in some fancy gadget or billion-dollar invention, but in that small, slippery bar sitting by your sink. So go ahead, turn on the water, pick up the soap, watch the bubbles form. Smile, because you're not just cleaning your hands. You're standing on the shoulders of Babylonian workers, Roman bathers, Islamic scholars, a heartbroken Hungarian doctor, and every person who chose cleanliness over convenience. You're protecting the future the same way they protected the past. Lather, rinse, repeat. And never forget, the simplest things can save everything. Thank you for joining me on this incredible 10-section journey through one of history's most important and most ignored stories. If this video changed how you see that ordinary bar of the soap, hit the like button, comment soap legacy below, and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe for more weird, mind-blowing history that actually matters. Turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. Now before you go, do it with me. Wash your hands properly, because soap saved civilization once. And with you watching, it will keep saving it every single day. Stay clean, stay curious. See you in the next video.